A nation's heritage is the sum total of events that took place during its development. Heritage is a rich and constant source of culture and uniqueness. In addition to revealing the characteristics of the social and economic way of life for those who lived at certain time points in a society, heritage contributes to increasing awareness of shared experiences between individuals, groups, and nations living in close proximity to one another.
This is best evident in the Arabian Gulf region, where nations share a culture that stems from the Islamic Arab heritage. Cultural commonality can only be described as significant.
Heritage consists of 5 main cultural points. The first concept relates to literature, such as heroism stories, and poetry, in addition to myths and drama.
The second concept relates to traditional beliefs and knowledge, including traditional medicine, explanation of dreams, and believing in the supernatural.
The third concept relates to popular heritage, such as traditions, social practices, and habits, including behavior, family ties, and relations, as well as the arbitration and resolution of conflict.
The fourth concept relates to the materialistic culture, such as craftsmanship and jobs, tools and simple construction, building boats and ships, agriculture, hunting, fishing, shepherding, and diving.
The fifth concept relates to popular arts, such as music and songs, musical instruments, games, and artwork.
There are many types of art. There are those that are inspired by sea life and those that are inspired by desert life. Some are popular throughout countries and some are only found in certain cities. One of the most popular sea life arts is the khatfa. Khatfa is a form of art practiced when a certain piece of work is accomplished at sea, for example when the sail is raised. Some forms of art are practiced for entertainment at sea, such as the hadadiyat and certain songs.
كذلك عندنا الصوت هذا فن ترفيهي جدا يعني يستخدم للترفيه عن البحارة من عناء السفر ومن عناء البعد عن الأهل. ولا عشت من بعد الأحبة سلوة ولا عشت من بعد الأحبة سلوة ولكنني للنائبات حمول.
GCC countries have paid particular attention to preserving the heritage of their societies. Government agencies were established for this specific purpose. There are also a number of centres, clubs and societies that strive to document heritage and increase awareness of the region's Islamic and Arab origin.
The United Arab Emirates prides itself on the richness of its heritage. And though the Ministry of Information supervises and manages heritages, over 31 popular arts societies are also active in the field.
We are trying to communicate all the practices and knowledge of our forefathers to the current generation with honesty and truth. And in the same way, we want to make today's generation's aspirations and practices visible for our future. For example, there are certain expressions and words that were in use in the past that are no longer heard on the popular level. Yet these should be known to existing and future generations.
التي كانوا يستخدمونها في الماضي من ألفاظ ومن مفردات معينة في التداول اليومي.
The Zayed Club for Heritage and History was established in 1993 and was declared an official entity of Abu Dhabi government by an Emiri decree in 1997. The club's objective is to preserve the heritage of the United Arab Emirates and teach current and future generations all about this heritage. This in turn has the objective of deepening the sense of belonging and national identity among all citizens of all generations.
There are places where old sports are revived and practiced, such as camel races and equestrian activities. Information about certain trees and plants that grow in particular areas is communicated by the Environmental Research Committee. There are also areas set aside for popular traditional games, and there is the traditional village where old crafts are practiced. There's also the House of Sea in Abu Dhabi that puts on fishing demonstrations and other sea activities, as well as agricultural cities such as Al Ain. Sources and documents used for research are available at the Zayed Center for Heritage and History.
The Zayed Center for Heritage and History is one of the most important centers in the United Arab Emirates that strives to preserve the heritage of the Emirates as well as the other countries of the Gulf.
Furthermore, there is a strong spirit of cooperation between the different countries of the GCC. For example, a while back we had a conference at the Zayed Center on Verbal Heritage. We called it the First Verbal Heritage Center. We are planning another conference of the sort, hopefully. Also, during 2006, a conference was held for the exchange of heritage and cultural information between GCC countries through the Environmental Research Unit and the Zayed Center at Al Ain City.
The Saud Al Babtain Center for Heritage and Culture in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is considered to be one of the most significant centers preserving heritage and culture. The center is a significant source of Arab and Islamic cultural information.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia pays particular attention to the preservation of heritage, not only as a tourist attraction, but also as a way to increase awareness amongst the Saudi society and strengthen the sense of belonging to an Arab Muslim culture.
In order to achieve this, the kingdom adopted a strategy of restoring and renovating existing museums and older buildings, instead of simply knocking them down.
The state of Kuwait recognized the importance of preserving heritage at an early stage. Out of the belief that the promotion of heritage is a way of strengthening national identity and fulfilling national duty, Kuwait was the first Arab country to establish a formal center for the preservation of the local heritage in 1956, 5 years before the country's political independence.
As a result of the close collaboration between the countries of the GCC over the promotion of heritage, we've concluded that this sense of commonality has existed for a considerable amount of time. The heritage of the region is almost 5,000 years old, and evidence illustrates considerable similarity and interaction between other countries of the same age. We need to emphasize this point in order to stamp out the belief that the GCC region is a very recent entity. Indeed, field research conducted in the areas points to real cultural depth and a wealth of heritage.
The Arab Heritage Monitoring Section of the National Council for Culture, Arts and Letters in Kuwait is seen as one of the best centers in the world that promote Arab heritage. The section collects rare books and ancient Arab manuscripts.
The section relies on these books and manuscripts to raise awareness of Arab heritage in the region and in the rest of the world by providing relevant information to researchers, scholars, and historians. The Kuwait National Museum was established in 1957 to protect the national heritage. It consists of a National Heritage Museum which houses pictures of old Kuwait, amongst other things. Kuwait has drawn up rules and regulations for the protection of its national heritage since the inauguration of the museum.
Kuwait also provides generous support to societies, centers, and museums that are active in preserving the Kuwaiti heritage, particularly the Islamic Remains House, which possesses the largest collection of Islamic remains in the world. Its portfolio consists of over 20,000 items of Islamic history from the 8th to the 19th century.
The campaign for preserving and restoring historical buildings that have traditional Kuwaiti features of construction continues. A prominent example is the House of Bedu, otherwise known as the House of Bedouins. In addition to a number of diwaniyas, social clubs for crafts such as the Fishermen's Diwaniya and the Nabat Poets Diwaniya, in addition to several other cafes that possess traditional features.
There continues to be many other initiatives, such as the work of women Sadu weavers, the traditional carpet and rug weaving that are characteristic of the Kuwaiti heritage.
Archaeological teams from the GCC have been working in Kuwait for the past 2 years, excavating the remains and ruins of Sabiya and the island of Failaka. They've also worked in Qatar and Oman, illustrating how closely the GCC countries work together in promoting a shared heritage. We are very appreciative that the people in charge are taking serious steps towards the preservation of the area's heritage and civilization.
Considerable attention has been paid to heritage in the Sultanate of Oman. Throughout history, Omanis have contributed to the heritage of the world, not just the region, and they've successfully maintained a strong sense of national identity and belonging.
This has taken many forms and begins with the establishment of the Ministry of Heritage and Culture. Its objective was to maintain and increase awareness of traditional Omani costumes, music, and crafts. The year 1994 was named the Year of Omani Heritage, leading to the eventual establishment of the Public Authority for Craftsmanship.
Plenty of activities have been conducted with the aim of preserving and demonstrating Omani heritage, and many more are in the pipeline. These include festivals, seminars, meetings, and gatherings of officials and interested parties. We at Al Zubair House participated in many of these events, and our role was to organize activities that would raise public awareness of the heritage of the Sultanate. We also conduct a series of lectures in the field.
Oman has adopted a framework of laws and regulations for the protection of heritage and manuscripts, which is enforced by the Ministry of Heritage and Culture, established for this exact purpose. Examples of this include the Oman Center for Traditional Music, the Manuscripts Department, and the Fort Restoration Department, as Oman has more than 500 forts that are considered part of the heritage of the world.
The remains of historical castles, forts, walls, towers, houses, and mosques that are scattered around the Sultanate are viewed as the main source of history. They tell the story of Oman since ancient times and the contribution of its people to human civilization.
When you study the geographical map of the region, you conclude that Oman cannot be separated from the rest of the Gulf. Hence, the heritage of the country is also the heritage of the Gulf. Caring for and supporting the preservation of Omani heritage is naturally inseparable from the efforts of preserving the heritage of the Gulf region collectively. However, when putting together archives, we do take into consideration the Omani heritage as part of the Gulf and the heritage that is exclusive to the country. This is the practice in the other GCC countries, as it is here in Al Zubair House.
أو الخليج عموما كتوضيح بأن هذا الغرض ليس فقط موجود بسلطنة عمان إنما أيضا هو مشارك للخليج. قطر مثل الشمق الخير وأراضيها عطر عبرها الحب بلا ماضيها يشهد للبحر.
The state of Qatar also pays attention to the preservation of heritage. The National Council for Culture, Arts and Heritage was established for this purpose to create a proper environment for poetry and arts and to preserve the culture of previous generations in terms of heritage and remains.
The Kingdom of Bahrain has always been known for its craftswork, such as ceramic pots, clothes, boxes and trunks, boats and ships and baskets, all of which relied on palm trees. Bahrain was also known for building boats that are made from imported wood that were used in shipping, pearl diving, travel and fishing.
We have been involved in preserving our heritage for some time now. As early as the 1950s and 60s, individuals were involved in collecting popular sayings and poetry. In 1983, the Heritage Section was established as part of the Ministry of Information. The section focused on collating aspects of Bahraini culture, particularly in terms of its verbal heritage. A book was later published on this important topic.
من الحكايات الشعبية والأمثال وبأسلوب علمي وتم إصدار كتاب خاص بالأمثال الشعبية.
Bahrain today has several agencies that are active in the field of preserving heritage and handicrafts. The Awal Center and the Jisra Center are two organizations that specialize in handicrafts. The capital city of Bahrain, Al Manama, has a center for heritage and another for arts.
The collection and maintenance of heritage also supports creativity and originality through using myths and old stories in children's books and in the production of TV series and movies. Such TV series were met with great success among Gulf Arabs and played a role in strengthening the ties between the people and their heritage.
ونلاحظ أن هناك يعني تلفزيونات المنطقة بالذات استفادت كثيرا من عناصر ومواد التراث الشعبي وتم إخراج العديد من المسلسلات التراثية ومثل ما يعرف الجميع أن هذه المسلسلات كانت ناجحة نجاح كبير لأن الإنسان الخليجي يرتبط كثيرا بالعادات والتقاليد والموروثات الشعبية وهذا الشيء احنا يعني شيء إيجابي وشيء يعني نشجع عليه.
The Kingdom of Bahrain organizes an annual heritage festival to portray heritage in a positive light and to educate people as to its importance.
Bahrain pays particular attention to children's songs and considers them as one of the most important aspects of the national heritage. There is a wealth of songs mothers and grandmothers sang as lullabies and which children also sang as they played. In addition, there are a number of songs relating to special occasions and festivities. This is how the governments of the GCC countries care for the region's heritage, preserving the area's unique roots.
Heritage is the natural extension of the present. It strengthens identity and acts as a form of communication between different generations, despite being separated by many years.